As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be.
Oh man, it's 8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a.
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
Brav Bros. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Brav Bros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody, for whoever wants to listen. I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Salt Lake City McGiddy. What's up, shitty?
Did you have to add the shitty in too?
Trying to figure out how to work shooter in, and then I realized
I feel like the McGiddy is fine.
McGiddy would have been good. I am being 100% honest right now. When I started to say shitty, I didn't realize I was saying shit. Like, I was just trying to work in.
You were trying to rhyme
with city.
Shooty.
With city.
Yep.
And that's what came out.
Worked out well.
As I started saying it, I was like, I'm going to call him shitty right now, but it was not my intention. Okay.
All right. Fair enough.
So it's not mean.
God. Yeah, no,
You
we
piece of shit. Carry on.
We're practically Mormons at this point because we've been watching a lot of the programming that Utah has been providing.
That famous Utah programming everyone knows
A
about.
lot of soda. I'll tell you that.
Soda. Yeah. What makes, honestly, it's good to watch these two shows together because, by the way, we are here coming to you as the episode airs. We get you a little special coverage for episode 1, the premiere of Salt Lake. We got the screener for it, so we wanted to record this beforehand and drop it right when it airs so you guys have content to listen to that you can sink your teeth into right after the premiere. It's a fantastic premiere. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm so glad it's back. But back to my main point, watching these two shows together is good because you get a lot of the background of why they're doing certain things on RHOSLC, such as Lisa Barlow's addiction to massive Diet Cokes. Would work. It doesn't work because she's not a real Mormon, but it would have worked knowing what we now know. It doesn't.
It doesn't, but it could.
It would have if she was an actual Mormon, which she, again, we're going to talk about that this episode, which is so funny. But yeah, your thoughts, T's and P's.
T's and P.
T's and F's? T and F.
Thoughts. What's the F?
Feelings.
Feelings. Oh,
Yeah.
thoughts and T's and F's. Love it. So happy that this is back. We talked about this on our Brav Bros members exclusive news episode about our feelings for what Salt Lake is going to bring us this year. And both of us had a little bit of concern regarding how much we're going to get of the whole Monica fallout. Are they going to spend the entire season on it? Is it going to be annoying because Monica's not there? I feel so good right now after watching this first episode because it was just the right amount.
Yeah.
You can tell that feelings are still a little hurt from obviously everything that went down. There's still some dust settling, but we've got new people immediately. They bring the two newbies in right away. First episode within 10 minutes. They
Performed very well.
performed very well.
Yeah.
Very well. They might be up for newbies of the year.
They're already, yeah.
Yeah, I think Bronwyn is awesome.
She's
I
phenomenal.
think she fits in
for what
perfectly.
She is. Brittany, fucking huge question mark wild card in a great way.
In the best possible way. The fact that she's talking to Mary about being poor is incredible. Nobody has ever even thought to utter the word poor and Mary in the same sentence.
I'm surprised she knows what poor means.
Yeah, that's a good point too. She probably does based on like a mission that she went on or something like 40
Mary?
years ago. Yeah.
She's not, no shot.
You don't think she's a missionary?
No, bro. She, in her quote unquote church that she runs, I guarantee she's never done any outreach. And that sounds mean.
That does sound really
But,
mean,
like,
it's Mary. Who cares?
I see her going to the church and doing her duties there. I don't know. This is why.
I want to know what Mary thinks is poor. Like, give your description of poor from Mary Cosby.
Okay, let's do it this way. You and I do fine, right?
Yep.
We're comfortable.
Poor as hell.
Fucking broke as shit.
Yeah.
Like disgusting scum. If she walked by my house or your apartment in
Yeah.
Fairmount, sorry, just out of where you lived,
It's okay.
she would scoff and say, "Oh my God, these people are disgusting. I don't have the time of day for them. They aren't worth my gaze." That's what she would say.
Yeah, that's probably pretty fair.
Yeah.
But I do feel like, the newbies came on not super strong, which is what we've been seeing recently, where these newbies pop in and they want to make a name for themselves. It looks like both of them are just being who they are, which we love to see. And again, I can't emphasize this enough. They're not really harping on the Monica Garcia stuff. They're going to talk about it. There's still, again, some things that need to be figured out. There's people involved. Maybe we'll dig back in a couple of episodes, but we're starting off super strong. I was excited to watch it.
Yeah, and I think it's so much funnier as it plays out because we talked about it again on that news episode on the members. So if you want to hear that again, click that link in our bio. Go ahead to the Bravo Bros members. But we talked about it there a little bit, how everybody on the show, and we talked about it on our community Zoom as well, has main character energy, or they
Yeah.
want to have main character energy. Everybody on this show wants to stand alone and have their own thing and be recognized as iconic in some way, shape, or form. All of them across the board see themselves as the HBIC in the group.
Yep.
Which you don't get very often. They all think that they're in charge, and if they are ever rattled, they just say, I don't have time for you, blah, 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 go fuck off.
Yeah.
You get proof of that immediately because the Monica stuff is obviously still fairly fresh. We have not discussed it at all. Meredith Marks is upset because during that entire altercation and during the reunion that was 99.9% Monica Garcia centric,
Yep.
she didn't get an apology for the shit that was said about her.
Yep.
So instantly.
And she's
Instantly.
pissed off about Whitney having bath bombs.
Yes. So
We're right back into it.
we're
The
right
important
there.
topics.
And we didn't have to waste time with going over the Monica shit over and over. As
Yep.
you said, I want to get into it a little bit. Like, there are questions that we need answers to. There's things that we need to move on from. Absolutely. What I don't need is a whole season, another Jen Shaw thing where it's like, okay, now we have to talk about the fallout of Jen Shaw. And then we got to talk about if you go to other shows when shit happens. And you don't want to sit there and get stuck on the same bullshit that we watched last year.
Mhm.
It was great. We loved it. One of the best one and dones to ever do it. We don't need to talk about it now. So I agree with you. They started out strong. Everybody is 100% showing up, and they're all bringing what they bring to the show so well. Heather immediately with the confessionals. I'm like, this is why I love Heather and her confessionals. They're always so on point and funny. Lisa is living on her own fucking planet in her own fucking universe once again, which is where I need her to be at all times. Whitney will never take accountability for anything ever.
But her healing journey is over.
She is healing. She is hilled.
She's
but
held.
She is also filling a lot.
Yeah.
She's hilled, but lots of fills.
Yep.
So we're going to hear about all of that, but she's right back to where she was last year and the seasons prior. I mean, everybody is firing.
Angie K.
Angie K came with props in the first episode. We love to see that. And then you have Mary, who gave more this episode, and I'm sure that was a stipulation for being full-time, but she gave more interaction in this episode than I think we saw not just last year, but quite possibly the last 2 seasons that she's been a part of.
Yeah,
So-
no, I would argue the exact same thing. You could feel and obviously see Mary's presence.
You could feel it.
You could feel it.
And so,
And the funny thing is, you pointed this out last night, and one of the things that we were doing for the members, you pointed out that Angie K is the middle snowflake.
yes.
Did you see when they go to commercial and they show them all sitting there?
Center.
She's center.
No,
She looks uncomfortable.
she does not.
Everybody
look-
else is
yeah.
smiling, and she's like,
What do I do with my hands?
she looks like she's in pain. I'm like, what is going on?
Literally looks like she's not quite sure how to hold the snowflake. She's like, ha
It's so funny.
ha.
It is so funny. She's like, which way do I turn? No, you're going to be in the middle. What?
Ugh.
Stand? Front?
Don't
This,
wanna-
I have to have a side. Well, you can turn your head like this, guys.
It looks
Straight on.
like
It's so
she
funny.
got surprised. Like, ah,
But it's so funny because like I didn't realize that at first, and you had pointed this out last night. And then obviously when they go to commercial break, I just kind of like glance over and I know that it's commercial break, and I look up and I see her and I paused it because I wanted to see her in the middle. And all I saw was her look so worried.
yeah, she doesn't look comfortable.
It's so funny though. And look, she, like you said, she showed up with props. I think that she took a little while, but she found her footing last year towards
She
the
did.
end. And this year she is firmly in the ground.
Yep.
Ready to go. Everybody is.
And that's what's good with Angie K's transformation, if you want to call it, because she was intolerable when she came into the scene.
Yeah.
Definitely worked her way and getting her footing and all of that. But now what she has at her disposal because of that now her weird antics are funny
Mhm.
because we're here for it. When
Yep.
she tried to do weird shit in the beginning or be too much, you're like, stop. And now it's like, okay, I want to see you break out the scroll. I want to see your giant sunglasses.
Well, the confirmation will be during the family scenes.
Oh,
Because those were always so forced, scripted, everything that you could say about them being not very organic. If they seem a little bit better this year, she's ready to go.
if they're cozy at home,
Or
then
if we just don't see the family stuff, I don't care.
I need to.
You need to just check in.
Just that dynamic of her and her husband was so interesting to me.
Yeah.
It always, like you said, felt scripted. When they went to dinner that one night, that was so awkward to watch. So I do want to see if they're more comfortable. And I just want to see it because for whatever
Yeah.
reason, I enjoyed those scenes in a weird, cringy way where it's like, ugh.
I still need a Chris Harrington cameo.
Look,
Need him
Chris
to pop back.
Harrington needs to just have burner accounts about this show.
Yeah.
And then talk about it like he's not embarrassed, which is shocking to be a 50-year-old man at this point, making burner accounts and be like, yeah, I made it about her.
Yep.
High five. No,
No?
you guys aren't
Nobody?
cool with this. Oh, you're mad. I'm not going to be on camera again.
Yeah.
That's the last time we saw him.
I know.
It's
Sad.
perfect. Well, it's a great way to
Needed
sail off into
more.
the sunset, but let's jump into the episode, and we start out with a fantastic intro. You get a voiceover, and this is something that I feel like Salt Lake does better than the other shows, is when they try to get cinematic with Salt Lake in particular, and have voiceovers and actual cutscenes and planned stuff. I always enjoy it for this show specifically. With other ones, I get.
Music.
I think it's the gospel.
It's definitely the gospel.
It's like, oh, beep,
Yeah,
boop.
that's all it is. Like, they can do whatever the hell they want. They can say whatever they want. I'll hear it. I'll understand what's being said, but I'm focusing on the gospel music.
Yeah, there's something heavy about that.
And the scenery with the mountains.
Yeah, you got the
beautiful.
mountains and then the eerie music where you're like, oh God, it was see, oh.
Yep.
So yeah, they do a great job. It's a solid intro, but I feel like we didn't even have a break with how it picks up because immediately we're in with Lisa and we don't have any kind of awkward intros or any kind of weird moments. It just starts out with her doing what she does best and micromanaging her party.
Yep.
Where she's like, oh, this needs to be here. This needs to be there. I don't do angles. I don't like angles. It needs to be facing me.
She's the polar opposite of Louis walking around before a party,
Correct.
acting like he wants to be involved and do all of
Yes.
these things. She is actually doing everything and changing everything and probably pissing everybody off, but she's Lisa Barlow.
And I want to know the exact measurements of how far she had to move certain things because I would imagine there's certain items that were moved maybe less than a foot.
Yeah.
It's like, I need this here.
I was thinking like a couple millimeters.
Yeah, just
Like,
like, oh
turned
no.
ever so slightly.
Yeah,
Actually,
we're
the
good.
sun comes in this way, and we need this to reflect off of this glass. So I'm gonna just
Just tweak this bad boy right here. But the whole episode, we get little fade outs, like with the echo
love it.
voices. It's so good. And it echoes, and it's like, I love my friends, some more than others, some more than others, some more than others. It fades into this cutscene of LB talking to Heather, and I guess Whitney went on the Viall Files. I'd forgotten about that, brushed up on it. But she went on the Viall Files, and she called out a lot of Lisa's bullshit. And look, here's the thing. The things that Whitney was saying aren't wrong.
no, they're not lies.
They're 100% true
Yeah.
because we do see villainous behavior. I
Uh-huh.
was going to say villainous.
But also, it's Villainous.
I like that word a lot. That might be our word. We've been wondering what word we want to try to get into the
Villainous.
dictionary. She's slightly villainous at
I
times.
don't know how you got to that word, but yeah.
Villainous. It's a great word. She's slightly villainous. That's a
Uh,
word now. Boop. It's put into existence.
Yeah, well, now I'm confused. Because now I'm thinking of the spelling of villain and it's A-I-N, so it should be villain?
Villainous?
Villainious?
Yeah, that's not the same. That sounds too highbrow for me. I need villainous.
We are highbrow.
Uh-uh.
Come on.
We made
But
it.
I do wonder, and I want to ask you about this. Do you think because they picked up cameras so quickly and we knew that they were going to be doing this because they started filming in like February and the reunion had just aired in in January? Do you think that's why we didn't get the long intro where everybody's checking in and doing this and that? Because for the most part, everybody's in the same place. Well, physically, they are not in the same place because there's new houses all over the place.
Yep.
I love this idea, by the way. A housewife should get a new house every season.
Every season?
Every season, I need a
Fuck
new house.
that.
Unless it's a really cool house and we vote on that housewife staying there. Now I'm turning this into Survivor. It's like House Hunters, but Survivor edition, but Housewife edition.
Yeah, you're crossing a lot of networks right now.
I'm getting all over the place here. But everybody's in the same position for the most part. Like alliances haven't really changed. There's new people, but we are introduced to them immediately and how they're connected to the group. So I feel like this is way better. And usually we do harp on the fact that Bravo shouldn't pick up cameras so quickly because we need the dust to settle on things.
Yeah,
But they did it really well, at least in this first episode,
I agree.
where we're just hitting the ground running. We know everybody. We do not need a nothing first episode where we just kind of rehash everything. We're getting right into new stuff, and I love it.
I do too, and I think finding out about this rift in their friendship because Lisa's pretty pissed off about it. And again, the things I can understand. Obviously, if you hear somebody talking shit about you, whether it's true or not, and also it's not like Lisa's going to hear that and agree with it because she doesn't think she's a villain at any point in her character arc, if you want to call it that. But I get being upset about it. I, again, don't disagree with the things that were said because when she does do mean shit, she never takes accountability for it.
No.
It's never her fault. There's always something else.
But she doesn't view it. It's different than
She doesn't-
others. It's
she's not
different than even
malicious.
Whitney is,
I
where
don't think-
Whitney will do something and she won't take accountability for it.
Oh, she'll spin it. She's a
She
spinner.
spins it. She knows what she's doing is wrong, but she'll try to make it look like it's right or that it's just her opinion,
It's
so
her
she doesn't
truth.
have to apologize for it. Exactly. That was part of her healing journey. Lisa, I think, truly believes that all of these are lies.
I do
Everything
too.
that she said is a lie because I am a great friend. I never betray anybody. I never talk about anybody else, and I never make them feel the way that you said that I made you feel.
Correct.
So I think that she truly believes it. That's why she thinks it's a lie.
I know. I think
great.
I think you're right.
It's delusional, and it's great. I love it.
And I think that with Lisa, I don't believe there's malicious intent. And that's
No,
the
I don't think it is
difference.
either. Yeah.
And that's why when I look at her, I don't say, "Oh, that's a villain." And she's also, it's not like she's fucking everybody over all the time.
No.
It's just she is self-centered
Yes.
and has her own agenda. And if you don't fall into that, she will overlook you and move past you because she doesn't have time for it. I feel like that rubs people the wrong way, rightfully so. But in her brain, it's not. She's not trying to be an asshole. It just
Yeah.
comes off that way.
Yeah, that's
it-
really what it is. You said it best. She's in her own little world.
Yeah.
And if you don't fit into that little world and you don't go along with her doing, like we just watched her micromanage at this party,
Mhm.
if you're not responding to her micromanaging your friendship, then you're out.
And we've seen moments where, like, let's talk about JB Husband Boss last year.
Yeah.
I was trying to talk to her, and she's literally texting and speaking out loud about the text that she's writing
Mhm.
while he's talking about something that she brought up to him. She
Yep.
called him into the room to have a little one-on-one, says her piece. JB Husband Boss goes to respond, and she gets into her phone and completely ignores him, comically so, to the point where
Yep.
you're like, is this a bit? And it's not a bit, and that shows you who she is. And we'll talk more about it later, but I want to keep going because Mary and Angie arrive, and these two at some point have become besties. And we find out it's simply, and I do believe this to be 100% true, it's only because Angie said you have lipstick on your tooth. And for whatever reason, that resonated so well with Mary, where she's like, wow, you really care about me. Like, just that's all it
That's
took.
really probably what it was.
I mean it. Like,
Yeah.
there was nothing else there other than maybe during the season she disliked the other women
Well, we
more
saw it last year at the reunion. She even said, I feel like I like Angie.
after she
And I
said
think
that.
that was enough to have Angie let her guard down because after the Trixie Hotel,
Mhm.
when Mary said, I don't even know who Angie is,
Mhm.
we got to this point at the reunion where she said she liked her. I think that caught Angie off by surprise for sure.
But I think that
Caught us
she's
by surprise for sure.
100%. But I think that literally happened again only because
Because
she
of the
said you have
lipstick?
lipstick on your teeth. And I think
Wouldn't be
in
surprised.
Mary's brain, that was like
Either that or she complimented her crazy chairs.
oh, you gotta be careful. I don't even know if you're supposed to talk about them. Not
Yeah,
us. I
maybe
mean,
not.
like when you talk to her, like
Good question.
if you acknowledge them, I think she thinks that you're making fun of them, no
Yeah.
matter what. Because what Heather said about her house was not mean, but she took it very mean. She said that it was, what did she say? I wish I had
She
the
said it was
quote.
very Mary.
But it is. It's
It is.
It's a Dr. Seuss house
Yeah.
that her son owns half of it or lives in half of it with his wife and posts strange things on Instagram. And we don't talk about that. That's my big thing with Mary, honestly.
We are going to get to that though.
We are talking about this season?
Oh yeah, we're
I didn't
definitely
see that.
You didn't see the scene where they're sitting down talking?
I must have looked down for 1 second.
Oh yeah, no, not in this episode, but like for the recap.
It was at the
for
end of the episode? I
yep.
didn't see that. And
Scenes
I
from this year. Yep.
Shit. Okay, good. Because there's a lot of... That's the thing with Mary being full-time that I need.
Mm-hmm.
We need more of the church. We need more of the relationship with her son. We need more with the relationship with her grandfather.
You might eat those words by the end of the year.
Well, here's the thing. I stand on laurels, okay?
Yep.
I stand on principle.
Mhm.
This is how the show is designed.
Don't worry, I won't forget that we had this conversation.
I know you are.
By the end of the year, if you're
Trust me.
complaining about Mary and her family and her son and all of these things,
I very well may be.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this will be the correct route.
No.
I'm saying if you are going to hold a snowflake as a full-timer, these are the things that we need to get into, for better or worse. But it will, once and for all, decide, is she actually good enough to be on this show?
yeah,
Or has she been skating along because she's so quirky and rude, and she has this bizarre backstory that she has treaded water more than any housewife in Housewives history. She has gotten by with doing the absolute least, not showing up to reunions, giving maybe 25%. And that's generous.
yeah.
So yeah, this is kind of a once and for all. It's like, can you do it or not? 1. 2, I am intrigued by her entire story. 3, I could eat these words. I'm not saying I'm going to be right. I'm just saying if you're going to be a housewife, we got to get into the shit. So let's find out. That's all.
All right.
But anyway, we get Heather arriving, and it's just, this is such a Lisa moment. She's like, because Heather shows up and she looks fantastic, and she's wearing, I want to say, a latex dress.
Yeah, it was latex.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's got hearts on it because
Yeah.
this is a Valentine's Day thing. It's a first of all, it's a Besos.
Bezos.
Besos.
Kisses.
Not Bezos.
Kisses.
She says Bezos, like it's a Jeff
Oh, I know.
Bezos
Yeah.
party. And then I got really excited that people were going to come with like bald caps.
Bald caps, yeah.
Like a Bezos
And take
party.
steroids or
And
something.
then I thought it'd be a really funny party idea to actually do something like that where you have to dress as like a terrible tech mobile.
Mobile. A tech mobile, such as AT&T.
Tech mogul.
Attaboy.
A temp mobile.
Temp mobile.
Jesus, let's move on.
Temp mogul?
Temporary mogul. Where are we? Heather arrives. But as I was saying, back on track here at the Besos party, she dressed up and, she has little hearts all over her dress. And she says to Lisa, I love a theme. And she's like, oh, it's not a theme. Okay. This is high fashion. There's an important distinction. This is high fashion. And I'm like, we're fucking back. We're
Yep.
so back right now. But the interaction between Mary and Heather was hysterical. And we need a compilation of just the interactions between these two over the years, because what Heather says, unfortunately, is 100% correct.
Absolutely.
She lost 25 pounds, looks great. She's skinny now. And now Mary's like, oh, I like you.
That's all it takes.
That's it.
She's a very simple person.
It's so rude. Because Heather looked great before, but she wouldn't give her the time. She called her inbred before she loses some weight. Now Mary's like, you're good now.
Yeah.
I like you
We
now.
can be friends now.
Yeah.
I can be seen in public with you.
Yeah,
Is what I got from
exactly.
that. Yeah.
That's what it is. But we get to meet Bronwyn. And first impression, like when she walks in, I'm like, I don't know. It's a lot happening with the outfit.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Only 3 of those in the world.
That doesn't track. I need to debunk that immediately.
Brianna owns one, and another's in a museum.
And now Bronwyn owns one, but when she sits down with Mary, she says to Bronwyn, I have the same coat. Make that make sense.
Doesn't. Mary's house is a museum, so maybe that's the museum we're talking about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Nicely done. I still need to know where that's bullshit, though.
It's probably bullshit.
We need to do some
Yeah.
Googling, some hardcore.
Would it be
Google.
the first time that a housewife lied about fashion?
Yeah, and it would be damning. But Bronwyn shows up, and she's got a wild confessional fit as well. She looks like something from Whoville going on, but we learn about she is friends with Lisa. They've been friends for like 7 years. She kind of gave Lisa the stiff arm early on because she was dressed in sweatpants and giving her outfit advice or something along those lines. But
It tracks.
it tracks.
Yeah. Lisa coming over to somebody randomly in a Nordstrom because they're picking up something that Lisa also likes and she wants to go talk to that person, yeah, that definitely
It
tracks.
definitely tracks because I think she looks for people of a certain caliber to try to
Yes,
befriend.
1,000%.
And Bronwyn definitely walked in there looking like she's wealthy, looking like she's fashionable, and Lisa went, I need to be friends with her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who you are, but we're going to be friends.
She probably did know who she was, too. That's
She
part of
definitely
it.
knew who she
Yeah.
was. But you get their little, again, we get a little flashback, and LB and Bronwyn went to lunch in one of the most outrageous fits I've ever seen.
Now,
That
we
was
saw this fit in the
crazy.
trailer.
That's okay. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
See, that's how
So I wasn't blown away entirely.
I was because I forgot.
Yeah,
So
fair.
she walks up. I'm like, are we going swimming?
I
Are
just
we
love
going
Bravo
skiing?"
throwing the 37 degrees and cloudy out there.
Yeah, and she's.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's a real thing. What are you doing? What are you prepared for right now? Is it safari, skiing, surfing, swimming, all the above? Maybe she's
Nothing?
actually ready for anything or nothing. It was a crazy outfit.
Yeah.
And then she goes and like beeps a card and goes into a restaurant. It was all very confusing to me. Is that a rich people thing? Beep. And you go to a restaurant.
Maybe it was a club.
Where's our cards? What club can we go to?
Chuck E. Cheese.
Hell yeah, brother.
Charles Entertainment.
Charles Entertainment. Hell yeah, brother. But I do need to ask. So she said this without any hesitation, or I think you need to make a little joke maybe. But she says all of my dogs are named after House of Cards characters, and you know where my head
Mhm.
immediately went. But I'm not gonna say his name on this podcast.
No, yeah, don't. But characters.
The character is
So is it
Frank
just like
Underwood one
Frank?
of your dogs?
Yeah, that's what
You
I
need
need.
to
I
change
need to
his
know
name.
that. Yeah, but also really weird choice for a TV show to name your dogs after.
Whoa. Look, if they were in the throes of House of
The
Cards,
first 2 seasons,
oh
sure.
my God, yeah. Maybe they got the dogs then.
I can't name one character other than Frank Underwood.
Frank Underwood. Fuck, that's a good point.
Right?
But it also has been a while, and I feel like my brain has mentally blocked it because I'm supposed to, because of who's in it.
Right, that's fair. It seems like it's a potential. I don't know why my brain went to this, but it seems like it's a potential COVID move. Maybe she was just in the thralls of Netflix.
Oh my God, what if she doesn't know? That would
She
be
might not
funnier.
know.
If she has
seems
no
out of touch.
clue.
Yeah,
If she has no idea what's going on with the
it's
actor
still
from that
just
show.
bizarre. Like,
It's a strange thing, yeah. You would
Yeah.
think it would be a different show.
and I love that it seems like a throwaway comment that other people are not going to analyze.
We will.
We will
Because
it's fucking weird. It makes
biz-
no sense.
it makes no sense for
Look, all right. So let's go this way.
okay.
Game of Thrones, probably a good show to name your dogs after.
Lots of name choices.
Lots of name
dragon
choices,
names.
dragon names, exactly.
Sure.
Perfect show for that. Breaking Bad is closer to like House of Cards.
Breaking Bad would be funny.
We've got
though.
Walter White. That's actually a
That's
pretty
funny.
good dog
That's
name.
funny.
All right, so
especially-
we're getting better.
yeah.
Frank Underwood. Maybe if it's like a bulldog with like an underbite and it's like Frank Underwood. I don't.
Frank Underbite.
Frank Underbite.
Yeah.
Now I'm just
Oh, wait a minute. Oh my God. Damn it. Fuck. I hate this.
what?
Frank Underwolf.
That's pretty good.
Fuck.
Pretty good. All right, let's move on. We capitalized
I
on
hate
this.
myself. Oh man.
Claire Underwood. That was his wife's name.
Claire Underwood was his wife's name.
So it's just Frank Underwolf and Claire Underwolf.
and Claire Underwolf, and I forget what the bodyguard's name was that he hooks up with.
No, we're going down.
We don't
far.
need to do this.
Nope.
Yeah, nope. Anyway, Whitney and her friend Miley.
I didn't know how to say it.
I didn't either. I
You
just
know what
saw
the
it
other problem
spelled.
is, and this is an us problem
Sure,
for the screeners.
we have lots. Oh yeah,
There's
no
a fucking-
subtitles.
No subtitles, but also there's a block at the bottom so
Mhm.
that we don't share this ahead of time. It can get traced back to us, and it's a big black title at the bottom, and it blocks out all of the any sort of script that pops up there.
Yep, it's very frustrating.
So yeah, I didn't know. I heard it, and I think it's Miley.
I think it's Miley.
We might not need to
M-E-I-L-I.
care.
I don't know if she's actually like going to be that big
Yeah.
a part of the show. We'll find out. But Whitney goes through the last 6 months. You know, everything's been really wonderful. I love my new life, my new house, my relationship with my family is great. Lisa Barlow's got an issue with me, but other than that, everything's good. And then she goes into it, and it's actually all the friendships are shaky throughout the
Mhm.
group. So she's out with Heather, as we know. That's been kind of up and down for a while. I think that that's what was confusing because in confessionals, Heather's like, I love Whitney. I'm like, all right, were you guys working towards being okay? I remember last year they said that they're gonna work on things. Like, there's a lot of things we need to work
That's what
out.
they said in the reunion, but that's what
say
they
that a
always
lot
say that in the
reunions.
reunion.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Really, the last thing that we know about their relationship was just that Whitney was complaining about Heather's book,
right.
and that
And
didn't
then we
seem
got,
to
I
get
got
resolved.
questions about that. Now.
Yeah, that still doesn't make any sense.
No,
to me.
especially after this episode.
Yeah.
But she's pretty much on the outs with the majority of the group except Angie.
Yep.
From what I can gather. So, and we know that Mary doesn't like her because she thinks she's stupid.
Yep.
And she also said that.
Bobblehead.
Yeah, bobblehead. And she also said that Whitney said that she was a pornographer.
Mm-hmm.
Actually said she was a predator. Pornography.
Pornography.
Yeah, Mary thought
Yeah.
that she called her a pornography, which was very funny. It's a predator is what she called you. But anywho, she gets to the party, and I love that Lisa's shocked. Like, you invited her.
I know. It's great.
What the fuck is she doing here?
This was the official time that I looked down and said, all right, we're back.
We're totally
fully in. You sent her an invite, and you are surprised that she's there.
Yeah.
For what is probably the first day of filming. Well, actually, maybe not, because they did do
They had the
flashback stuff.
yeah.
But the first full day of the whole cast filming, you're surprised that she's there to a party that she was invited. Love it.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Perfect.
We're hitting the ground running, but that's when we get to meet Brittany. And Brittany was dating Jared Osmond, who's Donnie and Marie, which I didn't realize that Donnie and Marie was Osmond. I knew Donnie and Marie.
You didn't know it was
I
Osmond?
didn't know it was Donnie Marie Osmond.
Oh.
And now that I say that out loud, I think I did. That
Yeah.
sounds familiar. But I didn't
know they were Mormons.
Mormon.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. I was like, oh
Uh-huh.
shit, I had no idea. And I guess they're like Mormon royalty. So her relationship with Jared has been up and down for
6 months.
16 times. I don't know months, but
She said 6 months they've broken up 16 times.
good lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's yummy. Jared Osmond, yummy.
It's like Prince Harry.
Yummy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hey, look, we all get it.
Yep.
Everyone talks about old Jerry Ozzy, as they call him out in Salt Lake. But that's when we get this wonderful, beautiful, could not script this interaction, which this played so well for both of the newbies. I don't even know if they know how well this did for both of them. By Brittany sitting down in between Bronwyn and Mary, who are going to hit it off swimmingly. Those two are going to get along very well. I'm 99.9% sure that Bronwyn could say something horrible to Mary, and Mary would brush it off because Bronwyn's rich and dresses well.
Yep. That's pretty much all it takes.
Brittany sitting in between these two is so fucking funny, and I had no idea that this is who Brittany was because she's just a fucking question mark. She has no idea. You know what?
It's exactly what we needed because we think that we could get that with Whitney, but Whitney's too entrenched in everybody's lives and they know who she is. Throwing Brittany in there and having her be the wild card is perfect.
Yeah, it's great.
Because it seems like she's unapologetic, but she's not where, Whitney gets a little ditzy and kind of checks out here and there and doesn't realize what she said was mean. Brittany's probably going to realize that she said it was mean, and she's not going to take it back.
Oh, that's
what I'm looking forward to.
I hope that's how she goes about it. I don't know. I don't.
That's what we need for this show.
I agree. She plays that role very well, and
sort of like what Monica did last year before the whole fucking fallout.
Yeah, I think that Monica had a little more tact. Like Brittany has she's very uncouth.
Yeah, I think Monica had a bit of a plan.
Yeah, she was more pragmatic about her approach to everything.
Yeah.
Whereas Brittany, I think, is just like, oh, I love your costume. And whoa.
Yeah.
This is Saint Laurent. It is $15,000. There's 3 of these Johns in the whole world.
Not to mention, this is not a costume party. This is not a theme party.
It's a high fashion party.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Jeff Bezos.
This is a Jeff Bezos high fashion party. And you will not disparage it by calling this a costume. The minute that she says that, I'm like, Mary will never like this woman.
Mm-hmm.
Mary hates her instantly. And then we go into a Mary confessional where she does what she does best, be very mean about somebody. And she's like, well, she walked in here wearing a German Shepherd coat. And then she proceeds to describe the plot of 101 Dalmatians.
Yep.
Here's the best part of that. I don't think she knows what that movie or book is.
No, if anybody was Cruella de Vil,
It's
would
Mary.
probably be Mary.
Right? She
Yeah.
is, that tracks for me.
Uh-huh.
But as she's explaining this, I'm like, I wonder if she knows that there's a book and a movie, a very famous book and movie
Probably not.
about this exact premise.
Yeah, probably not.
I don't think she does.
Nope.
And I think if you told her, she'd be like, I want that jacket. I want that coat. Give me Cruella's coat.
I get it.
I want that Dalmatian spots. That's a great coat.
See Mary not fully understanding what a villain in like a Disney movie even is.
Oh, she'd
She
probably
probably
understand
sides with the
them.
villain.
I get
She's
this.
like, what's up with these fucking annoying people that they're showing on the screen the whole time?
Yeah, I don't
Get
like.
back to her. Get back
Yeah.
to Ursula.
Yeah, where's she got great style?
She just wants a good voice.
Yeah, what's the problem here? She made a deal. You signed a contract.
Yeah.
That's when you know
Yeah,
you get
there you
older.
go. Yeah,
is
yeah.
when you watch the Little
1,000%,
Mermaid.
yeah.
You're like, well, you signed the fucking
I
contract.
kind of agree with that, to be honest.
It's not
You wanted to
wrong.
walk.
Yeah, look, she fucking hosed you.
Give me some feet.
Yeah, she took your voice away. You didn't
Yep.
read the fine print.
Yep.
That's not her fault. You were so willy-nilly to get legs. Read the contract.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you know you're old, when you agree with Ursula. But anyway, as this whole thing starts to shake out, Mary says that she holds on to things in her past. And Brittany, once again, you can't make this shit up. She goes, oh, like a hoarder? And she's like, no, not at all. I keep things that she's like, oh yeah, I grew up poor too. I hoarded things. She's like, I was never poor. She's like, nah, but like rolls. I'll keep bread in my purse. I'm like, that's sad. That's you got to do what you got to do.
That's
but
not sad keeping bread in your purse.
no, that she felt the need to store bread in her purse from restaurants to be able to.
Oh, I thought
feed
she said that
herself.
she still did it.
Oh,
I think she said she still does it.
there's still nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with
No,
that at all.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with having a little snacky poo. Especially, look, who the fuck doesn't like a good dinner roll?
Are you kidding me?
You
Throw
know?
a dinner roll in there. Catch me in like 2 or 3 hours after a couple of beers. Give me that
How
dinner roll.
stoked I would be. And that's one of those moments where
Pumped.
you forget that you put it in
Uh-huh.
there, and then you reach in and you go, oh
Yep.
my God. It's like when you get home from a big night and you open the fridge, you're like, I forgot I got takeout earlier, and
Yep.
it's still here.
Oh, yeah.
Big moments. Bread in the bag, same vibe.
Yep.
So I'm with her on that. But calling Mary a hoarder was so fucking funny, alluding to the fact that she may have in her life been poor, even for a split second, is comically funny. Then we get the flashback. And you get Heather with Meredith. And the first thing I need to point out, even Meredith's pajamas have shoulder pads.
Yep.
Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Was that real, or was it just the way she was sitting?
Nope, that's real.
There was a shoulder pad.
Gotta
right?
be real,
It
right?
had to be. It might have been the
Either
way
that
she
or
was-
she's got the weirdest hangers and she does it on purpose where she gets something washed but keeps it wet and then puts it on this hanger to like point it out.
Maybe, but the first thing I saw was like, wow, shoulder pad. But
Yep.
I could have been the way she was sitting, but I'm just going to go ahead and say that she has
No,
pajamas with shoulder
shirts don't
pads in
just
them.
do that on
Yeah,
their own.
shirts just don't stand up.
No.
What is this? A Disney movie?
Yeah.
But they start talking about Bermuda and New York, and I'm like, okay, here we go. It was going to happen eventually. We had to talk about Monica at some point. Nope. This has to do with Meredith
Mhm.
at the reunion, and Meredith in Bermuda, because she's like, I got dragged into a lot of these things. A lot of disparaging things were said about me, and I didn't get one apology from anybody, and that's a problem. And then Whitney wants to go out here and, first of all,
This is the best though.
like, it's so fucking amazing. And she's like, she starts a jewelry line, and she knows that I have jewelry.
Uh-huh.
And then she starts a bath company. What is it? Like bath products, bathing products, bathroom supplies.
Bathroom supplies?
Bathroom
Sure.
supplies makes it sound really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say that. It's a bathroom supplies
The
company.
staples of bathrooms.
Yeah. Whitney's bathroom staples. And she says that it's an attack on me. I wish we could get a list of how many housewives have beauty products, Bath and Body Works type deal, scents, name it. I'm not taking away from those businesses.
Yeah.
A lot of them do very well. with
There's
them.
at least one woman on every franchise that has them,
Yes. So
without a doubt.
like skincare, whatever it is,
Yeah.
beauty products.
Also, and not defending Whitney in this way, but her, what is it, Whitney Rose or whatever is
Whitney
the
Wild Rose
Wild Rose line, has been well documented in this show.
constantly.
Every season we've had this.
Yeah.
So I don't know why Meredith's so surprised by any of that. Also, Meredith bringing this back up is the dumbest thing in the world.
But it's so good.
We talked about this last year. You got to get out of jail free card.
I know,
Monica
I
took the
know.
fall. You were clearly digging through your DMs to the point that you said you needed to catch up on DMs, which I don't know if you saw the future scenes, but
Where
we
someone's-
do
Whitney's
get somebody
scrolling through her
called
phone,
Whitney
yeah.
scrolling through her phone. You could have just laid down and just not said a word.
She can't do that.
Yeah, I know, but this is why it's so great. You could have gotten out of this scot-free and instead you're pointing it back in your direction because you want an apology for it.
Yes.
You were caught, and then Monica trumped you,
Yes.
and you didn't have to do a thing,
Correct.
but you're going to bring it back to you.
Yes.
Love it.
Because it's Meredith.
Yep.
She needs
But
resolution.
no, it's great for us too because I need resolution on this.
I do too. But she's not going to get what she's looking for.
No,
And again, like you said, if you keep digging, I don't think that your side of the street's that clean, Meredith.
No, it's
obviously,
definitely not.
it's not Monica level,
No.
but you clearly were digging a little bit.
Yeah, you were absolutely digging a little bit and listening to your DMs. But we've come to terms on Meredith is not going to take accountability for it.
No.
She is not going to say she's sorry. She's not going to tell us what's actually going on or what she uses that information for. But I just need her to get called out for it so that we get a little bit more information.
I agree with that.
I just kind of wish that it wasn't Whitney doing it because she's gone through her journey. So maybe she can stand on her own.
So she hilled.
Usually she can't form an entire argument.
No, she gets
about
sidetracked.
this. She gets sidetracked and then changes
Defensive.
her tune and then gets defensive.
Yeah.
So I need somebody else who's, a little bit
Heather.
more solid
I
to
need
go
Heather
after.
to do it.
Yeah, Heather needs to do it.
Heather
but
would do a great
I don't
job
see
with
that.
it.
I don't know if I see that happening.
Oh, it's not going to, but it would work very well. But we move on, and we get to talk about. She does herself no favors, but we get to talk about Jack's mission.
Yep.
Okay, and there's a lot of speculation about this young man's mission, and I do believe he's been in Bogota for 8 months, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what missions in the Mormon Church are all about: finding those coffee shops, going to Michelin star restaurants,
Getting cultured.
getting cultured. Like, fuck me, man. You already had rumors about him hanging out in OC instead of going on the mission.
Yep.
Now he's on the mission, and not only are you telling us, the audience, as to what he's doing down there, which doesn't sound very missionary to me.
Doesn't sound very Mormon going to that coffee shop.
That's my point.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have hot drinks. You are not allowed to drink coffee, sir. But the funniest part is she's telling this to a group of Mormon women.
Mm-hmm.
Bronwyn, who grew up, as we find out during this scene, in a very traditional household. Her parents were, I don't know what the levels of church stuff is that aren't like Catholic. I'm saying like a deacon of the Mormon church.
Yep.
Whatever that is in Mormonism.
Mm-hmm.
So she grew up like very staunch beliefs. Whole family went to BYU. She got the boot from BYU. I love that. She's peeling back the layers, and I'm liking what I'm finding. It's fun. But you're confirming once again, Lisa, that you don't really know what this religion is. You are not really a Mormon. You're your own brand of Mormonism, which is fine. Like, there's plenty of people out here Bible thumping Christianity that aren't actual Christians. So I don't have a problem with that. My problem is, and actually my joy comes from, the fact that when you're pressed with these things, hey, you don't seem that Mormon, you get so up in arms and try to explain to other people what being a Mormon is, which is so goddamn funny because no, nothing you're saying is Mormonism. It's written down. It's quite clear. Here's the rules. Your son's not following them while he's on a mission to Bogota. And don't get me wrong, if I'm in Bogota, you're goddamn right I'm hitting up the swanky coffee shops and like the trendy shit. And you know I'm going to a Michelin star restaurant because, as Lisa says, it's cheap as hell. Yeah, that's all I'm doing. I'm not on a Mormon mission. So the fact that she's like airing out this shit, I thought it was so on brand. It was so fucking funny. And at the same time, slightly damning to her claim on Mormonism.
Yeah, it's definitely slightly damning on that. And also, all of the things that transpired during the ending of filming last year and while you were watching the show last year, people were questioning Jack being on this mission to begin with. One of those situations, which seems to be a common theme with all of these people, is that you could just not talk about it.
That's it.
We don't need to, you know that people are going to ask a lot of questions about it. You're giving us more information. We're bringing it back up. Now we're going to go right back to Jack's Mormon.
Yep.
Or Jack's mission.
Yep.
Jack's Mormon. Yeah.
Jack's Mormon.
I don't know.
Is he?
I was going to do something with that. But yeah, just leave it alone. Just don't do it. But Lisa can't do that because she lives in her own world. She doesn't realize that people are going to dig into this.
No, and it's even funnier watching her confessional where she's like so proud and this and that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she shouldn't be, but it's just so funny. She's like, he's really learning and he's growing into himself. He's finding all these great coffee shops. He found 2 Michelin star restaurants and they're so cheap. And I said, make sure you save one for me. And I just can't keep talking about this. I'm going to cry. That shows you that she lives in her own bubble and once again does not see a problem with any of it.
Yeah.
And there's no issue with it. my issue or the issue would be with the Mormon church saying this is not the religion,
Mm-hmm.
but it shows you that Lisa does not have that connection in her brain where she's like, oh, I see what you're saying. She's like, I'm so proud of my boy for doing this mission and growing as a human being in coffee shops and Michelin star
Yeah.
restaurants. It's great.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. But Meredith with the line of the episode, I believe, and that's tough because there's a lot of good ones. Goes up to Whitney and just flat, what's up with the bath bombs? Great intro. And she said, what's your problem with me? And they get into it, and she's, again, all pissed off that she decided to do these bath bombs because she claims that last year she announced that she's going to do her own line of bathroom products or whatever. And Whitney's like, I've always had bath bombs. I started with bath bombs. She's like, no, you didn't. She's like, I did. She's like, well, why didn't you? When did I see that? Like when I ordered from you, she's like, you didn't order the bath bombs. You didn't look for the bath bombs. And then it turns into, why didn't you offer them to me? And I was like, this is fucking great. Because the response is, it's a jewelry store. There's skincare products there. It's like, Meredith, stay on track. Meredith, you're getting sidetracked.
But it's incredible.
It's so good. But hey, you're here to talk about bath bombs. She debunked it. Now you either need to say, oh, my bad, or change the subject.
Well, as we know, Meredith has a monopoly on bathing.
Yeah, that's actually borderline true, at least in Salt Lake.
So, yeah, anytime that somebody brings up anything bath related, if it's not Meredith talking about it, you can't talk about it. Meredith is the only one who takes baths.
It was just the
Like she invented it.
she did invent bathing, and everybody knows that.
But Mary does not care.
No, Mary could care less.
Yeah.
But it's just the line of questioning was so fucking funny. And yeah, Mary's like, why are they arguing about baths? Baths are gross, which I actually tend to believe as
Yeah.
well. Sitting in a pool of your own filth just seems yucky to me. But hey, to each their own. Do your thing if you want some. And bath bombs are not good for you. Okay? All the chemicals and shit floating around. You're just sitting in chemicals now and
Go
your own
off.
filth. Go off, queen.
Tell your truth.
I am. I think baths are overrated and people need to stop taking them. The only thing they do is they save water, which is also surprising because you'd think they wouldn't, but they do. Showers take more water than baths. There you go.
Wow.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're
for
welcome.
that.
You probably knew that already.
It makes sense.
Just mansplaining to you what baths are. But yeah,
What do you think about hot tubs while we're on the subject?
I think they're disgusting.
All
but
right,
still
I
like
knew.
them.
All right. As long as you're consistent, that's all that
Yeah,
matters.
no, they're good. But I will get in a hot tub.
Yeah.
But I know that's the thing. You got to get into them knowing, like, oh, there's other people's filth in here. It's
Mhm.
yucky. Don't make that face.
What?
That was like, yeah, I know there's filth in there.
Yeah.
I don't like that. That's gross. Angie approaches the conversation, and this was great. And I don't expect this kind of prop work in the first episode ever. I don't expect this from Angie either, which maybe we need to learn to, especially if she's sitting center stage this season. But she said, I heard you want an apology from me, Meredith. That's great, because I want apologies too. And she whips out an actual scroll and unravels it in front of Meredith and begins to list off all of her grievances with her, which, you know what? Here's the thing. If Meredith wants apologies from Angie for all this bullshit, Angie's grievances are fair as well. I even wrote them down. Where did it go? Okay, so Angie wants apologies for the following. The mafia thing,
Mhm.
claim that she's in the mob.
Yep.
Yes, you did further that narrative, Meredith.
Reasonable.
Yep. For telling somebody to sue Angie K and take her house and everything she's worth. That happened as well. Facilitating, I'm not going to say spreading, but facilitating
Mhm.
the rumors about her family
Yep.
because she alluded to things. That's what Meredith does so well. She'll never say the words.
Propagating.
She's propagating.
Yeah.
She's a goddamn propagator.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Propagating the rumors. And then the last one was just shit on Twitter. And then they started going back and forth. I couldn't hear anything. But this is the funniest thing with both of them. And they're very similar in this regard. None of this shit matters, guys. Drop it. Both of you can look at each other and go, this is all bullshit. You said bullshit. I did some bullshit. Let's drop the bullshit and just let's wipe this one clean.
Yeah.
There's no reason for this.
What exactly is Meredith mad at Angie for,
I
though?
don't know.
Because I don't think we knew that last year either. We
Uh,
talked about it at the reunion, and it was very unclear.
no, my bad. It was that dinner when they went on the first trip and Angie didn't get invited, remember? So Angie shows up on Meredith's trip.
Right.
And then when they go to dinner, Angie starts to air out shit about Meredith, problems that she has with her because she was not invited on the trip. And that's when Meredith gets up and says, if she wants to talk about husbands, we need to talk about husbands. It was something to do. She said that she was like a pill popper or something, that she would never be friends with somebody like Meredith. Like a lot of, I think the root of it at that dinner was Meredith heard that Angie was talking shit about her, and then Angie came in with a chip on her shoulder because she wasn't invited on the trip. Things went south, and then we get the husbands, that whole moment.
Checks out.
So that again, back to my previous point, this shit doesn't matter.
Well, and that's what I like about this the most, and that's what I like about what Angie was doing, because as soon as she goes to her confessional, she starts talking about the scroll, and she says, I had hoped that when I busted out the scroll,
Laugh.
Meredith would have laughed and thought it was funny. So it says to me that Angie K recognizes that we're at an impasse. We're not going to be able to apologize for these things because we're not going to take ownership of the things that we said in the past. But as long as you can laugh, we can move on from it. That's what I got from it.
Hindsight's a motherfucker.
Hindsight, yeah, for sure. And we always call
she
that
made
out.
the confessional months after. It was
I think I have OC brain right now because every time they go to confessionals in OC, they still feel the exact same way.
Mhm.
And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
That's a good point.
So now seeing this, yes, usually our minds do go to, well, the confessionals are later down the line, so they're going to take some things back and look at hindsight. But maybe. I
Yeah.
do like the idea that she used the prop to try to get Meredith to laugh. But Meredith is not the person to do that
Right.
with.
I think Angie knows that. So that's
Yeah,
why I'm
so
like,
yeah, I think maybe not. All right, fine.
But yeah, I like if that was because if that was also the case, she would have
Make
pulled
light
it
of it.
out and been like, JK. She wouldn't then proceed to list off all of her grievances. But we get a little speech from Lisa Barlow, which I thought was hysterical, especially if all the remaining party that was there it looked like there was like 8 people left. And she gives a speech to everybody. And mid-speech, she's like, I love you all. I don't like podcasts. And I'm sure most of the people that are just guests are like, what? Whose?
I
And then
imagine even Whitney's probably like, huh?
No, because Whitney, we find out,
No.
knew about it. But she even points at Whitney. She goes, I don't like podcasts. Got to talk to you later. Open the gates. And it's some dude fucking pulling a rope on a creaky garage door like,
It's fucking perfect.
and I didn't realize they're standing outside in the winter in Salt Lake. Like, I thought there was,
There's heat lamps.
yeah, whatever. But they get to dinner and
Plus they've all got, I guess, German Shepherd coats on and stuff like that.
and then
Keeps you nice and warm.
Saint Laurent fucking exclusive drops.
Yeah, do that one again. Say that.
Saint
again.
Laurent.
Yeah, that got worse.
Saint Laurent.
Okay, yeah.
Probably insulted our French listeners. But anywho, we get to dinner and we get to learn Bronwyn and Whitney have some things in common with the stepkids. Bronwyn's stepson is actually older than her.
6 months.
Here's what I like about Bronwyn. And we don't age shame around here. She's dating an older man. We don't care. Here's what I like about Bronwyn. Completely owns who she is up till now. Obviously, things will change during the season, but she's like, people said I wouldn't be a trophy wife. Look at me now. 10 years later, still sticking around. I'm like, I like this. This is all funny.
Good
to me.
energy.
Yeah, it's great energy. You acknowledge the age gap. You acknowledge the age similarities with your stepson.
Yep.
All those things. If you're going to be that person, fucking own it. And that was a great move by her. But this is troublesome. This is the only troublesome thing. And I enjoyed it this episode. Didn't have a problem with it this time. But you know how our brains work. So now I'm thinking about the future. I'm like, all right, could be some bad foreboding here. Angie is so stuck on the shit that Meredith said, and this is where I can obviously point to the scroll and be like, that was not a joke.
Right.
And she's sitting here at the dinner table. Like she said, sue her and take her house. Like, I have a daughter. It's like, all right.
Yeah,
bro, like,
enough.
we're doing this shit again. Like, get over it. This was last season. You're not getting an apology, especially from Meredith. You know that. Like, the best you could hope for is a one-on-one where she's like, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings.
Yep. That's really all you need. And honestly, if it was brought up at a reunion, this is just food for thought for all of the housewives that are listening. If it gets brought up at a reunion and there's still no resolution, move on.
You got to.
You're never going to get it.
Nope.
That's the only place that you might get it, and that's it.
Yeah, or you can wait all season and then just throw it out there at the reunion
Yeah,
just
that's
for
all you have
shits
to
and
do.
giggles.
No.
But Bronwyn will learn the ropes because she's like, why don't let's just draw a line.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, but she said this. Yeah, let's just draw a line. I literally wrote it down.
I liked
Let's draw a line. Yeah, but draw a line. Yeah, but draw a line. Jesus. So
I was all right with it.
I was too. I had
Yeah.
no problem with it. It was just funny
I
because
think it was done in a funny way. It wasn't like a serious, all right, we need to stop talking. Because I actually hate when people get serious on these shows like that.
Oh, I know you do.
Just don't get involved in other people's business and then don't take it seriously. If you can do it in a funny way, I'm in.
Oh, the way Bronwyn handled it was
Yeah.
great. I'm not saying it was bad. It was just funny because you could see she's like, all right, now we can draw a line.
Mhm.
She's like, yeah, but she also said this about my house. Yeah, but now we can draw a line. But she said she was going to sue me and take my house. It was a good scene. That made me a little nervous.
Just because Angie kept harping on it. Yep.
I need her to be able to move on from it.
I agree with
That's
that.
all. But did you know if you eat steak, it'll sit in your colon for a week and block it?
No.
I didn't either.
No.
Thanks, Mary Cosby, for that.
Wow.
So I'm vegan now because I didn't know that that's how my digestive system worked.
Also, it was not a T-bone. It was a fillet.
It was a fillet, which the funniest part of that whole thing is Lisa's stuck on it being a fillet. It's got to be a fillet.
Be a fillet.
Fillets aren't fancier than other meats. Fillets actually, public service announcement out there, the worst cut of steak you can get. It is flavorless. It's bland. Sure, it's tender, but don't waste your money on a fucking fillet. Get a ribeye. If you can't get a ribeye, get a strip. If you can't get a strip, get a porterhouse, because you know what that is? That's half strip, half fillet. So now you got both. Okay? The funniest part, she tried to disparage a T-bone steak. Do you know what a T-bone steak is? It's a thinner porterhouse. Did you know that? A porterhouse is a T-bone that is 2 inches or thicker.
If you're watching on YouTube, Steele's going to do a tattoo tour, and the last tattoo he shows you will be the cuts of meat.
Here's my cuts of meat on my arm. I will show you where you get them from. But yeah, a T-bone is a porterhouse steak. It's
Yeah,
just
but
an
now you have
inch
to
and
do a
half
full
or less.
tattoo tour.
Shh.
I promise.
Inch and a half or less is a T-bone, so it's a good cut of meat. It's better than a fillet. Fillets stink. Anyone tells you different doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. Here's my
They
tattoo.
all sit in your colon for a week.
They will sit in your colon, and then, of course, my brain's like, I'm just picturing like a full steak
Yeah.
inside of a cartoon colon. I don't know why, but that's what I saw in my brain. Like unchewed, perfectly preserved steak blocking your colon.
Yeah, I think after you eat it and goes through the stomach acids, it just kind of gets all back together and
And then it
forms
looks like-
back to what it was,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
It looks like a steak.
Yeah.
So that's how meat works. So that's
Uh-huh.
why I'm vegan now. Thank you, Mary Cosby. Praise be. But we get to LB and Whitney, and they just call it out at the table, which I appreciate. We just get into it immediately. And Lisa says, your whole podcast was about me. Fair. You heard a lot of shit talking. Whitney, you're so self-absorbed, you think it was all about you. Fair. Good point. It was 2 hours long. It probably was not all about Lisa. Good point. What offended you? You talking shit about me. Come with receipts. We need examples. Yes, there was things in there. I heard them too.
Yeah.
But I need you to be more prepared, Lisa. I need you to give examples now. That would work better
This
for
is
me.
one of those situations where any other person on this show or any other housewife show, we would have the sticking point of, what did I say specifically?
Yes.
That's what Whitney kept saying, and nobody was letting her go.
No.
Nobody was actually saying, yeah, Lisa, what did she say specifically that bothered you? But I think it's because everybody is such at like a bad place with Whitney.
I think they're tired of this shtick because she immediately goes into it here.
Yeah.
She's like, my experience is not a lie. I'm not a liar. That's my experience. This is how I
Yeah.
feel. So I think they're just sick of that. I know I am. Like when she starts going into that rhetoric, I'm
'Cause
like,
it's not a reason.
no, it's certainly not a reason. And also, your experience can be your experience. You can still be lying.
Mhm.
Like that's not a get out of jail free card. And she tries to deem it like that. Like every time this happens and she gets caught in some shit, that's how I remember it. That's not how truth works.
Mhm.
You can't have a warped reality of what happened and be like, but that's my truth. Great. You can't say the sky's brown and say,
Well-
well, that's my. Oh, well, you're colorblind. So
Come
that's
on.
different. Is the sky brown for you?
Do you say it is?
What color is the sky for you?
Blue.
Is it blue, or is it you're telling your brain it's
Telling
blue
my
if you're
brain it's
colorblind?
blue, yeah.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
What was it originally?
I don't know.
That would have been
It was a
cool.
long time ago. I don't remember.
Red.
Yeah. That would be sick, actually.
That would be kind of
Kind of scary, actually.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd like that, but she keeps going down that I'm not lying about my feelings kind of shit, and then she drops a great. This actually might be the line of the episode. If I don't kiss every part of your asshole, you bash me. And even Bronwyn's like, ugh.
Yeah.
that's
Too much.
not the saying, man.
We've got Mary over here talking about steak in my colon. Now
Here
we're
we
talking
go.
about kissing buttholes.
Yeah.
No.
I don't need it. I don't need all this.
Nope.
No, it's kiss every part of her ass. Period.
Hole.
No, no, just ass. Done. That's what
You're telling her what to say.
Yeah.
You can't tell her how to experience life, Steve.
Yeah, that's her feelings. You're right. That's my bad. But Whitney has heard that Lisa Barlow was talking shit about the podcast, so she wasn't blindsided by this news. She knew it was coming. Now Lisa's like, well, who said it? Flashback.
I love the dramatic reveal of who's at the front door.
Yeah, it's Angie. Hey.
Also, we walk into this house. I know it's a new home.
There's nothing in it.
There's nothing in it.
No.
It was kind of creepy.
I noticed it as well.
Yeah.
As soon as-
One couch, one TV up there, no
Yeah.
decor. You moved out of another house. Did you not bring
Where's your
anything with you?
stuff? Where's the moving company? It's
don't
all still
know.
in Salt Lake. It shouldn't be that far
Did you
behind.
just move in today?
I don't know. These are the things I get stuck on as
Yeah.
well. I'm
If
right
you're
there with you.
rich, you should have a fully furnished
It
house.
should be furnished when you move in.
Yeah.
That's what rich people do, don't they? They just hop from house
That's
to
what
house
I
with-
imagine,
with
yeah.
Furniture in
I
it.
don't want to see a housewife and go to their house and there's nothing there.
Yeah, god damn it. Fuck this show.
That's why we watch.
Nah,
See rich people.
I would imagine the next time we see her house, hopefully it's decorated like
I
Mary
don't know.
Cosby's house. But
Doesn't have a job yet?
that's a good, yeah, because he got the job, remember, and then he wasn't.
Oh,
home.
yeah,
That
okay.
was a whole thing
All right.
because he checked out of family stuff because he was working again.
Right.
Right. But she figures out who told her. It wasn't very hard because she asks Angie and she goes, "Did you tell her?" She goes, "Whoa, what part?" It's like, well, clearly she told her, but she snaps on Angie not having her back. She goes way, way far down the road. Like I didn't need this. It was funny because this is how Lisa's brain works, but she starts listing off the shit that Whitney's done. She can't name a specific moment from the podcast.
Yeah. Which
She
should be
can-
fresh in your brain.
Should be. But she can remind Whitney that she claimed that she slept with somebody for jazz tickets. Or, again, Whitney didn't make that claim. Whitney was relaying information that she heard.
Yeah. And
From
from what I
Meredith.
remember,
Meredith
she was
told
doing
Whitney.
it to warn Lisa.
Yes.
Still got caught in that
Yes.
because she cannot dig herself out of things.
No, because she's incapable of doing so
Yeah.
because she gets defensive.
Yeah.
Every single time. But I love the line from Lisa, game on. He goes, "You want a villain? I'll be your villain," which we've had a little bit before with the Diana Jenkins, but this
Ugh.
one seemed more real because I know
Yeah.
Lisa could bring it and Diana Jenkins can never, ever return to our TV screens. But Whitney set herself up. She goes, "When have I lied? I've never lied." Everybody jumps in.
Yeah.
Meredith Marks jumps in. The Mary Colt thing. Heather says the approval of the book. I gave you first approval. You read through everything. You said it was fine. Meredith says my father's memorial. Heather's ramping it up on the unauthorized material. The accusement of affairs. You chased Heather out of a bar saying you exploited her vagina. Like all these different things. It's a gang up on Whitney. And Angie's like, let's just go one at a time. Let's go one at a time, everybody. This is kind of
You
a
guys
lot.
put it on a scroll and
Yeah, like
read
these-
it off.
This is definitely a scroll kind of
I've
conversation.
got a scroll guy, actually. If you guys want to do this, you can get 20% off if you use the code Greek.
But this shit, it gets out of hand. And shit gets crazy. And Lisa claims to have given her grace. And this is actually a good point. And I do think that Whitney does this. Lisa's like, you act all morally superior to everybody around. When you get on this soapbox, Whitney, it seems like all of your transgressions are gone. And you think that you're holier than thou and you're passing judgment on people. The funny thing is, I feel like this is similar to a Lisa Barlow thing, where I don't think that Whitney, I do believe that her experience is her truth. And
Yeah.
that truth is not the truth, but she firmly believes it to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
That's where she is talking to Lisa, who is the same.
Yep.
This is impossible.
They're never going to come to a resolution,
No.
but we've pointed that out so many different times. And again, this should be about specifically what happened on the podcast. And they can't make it about what happened on the podcast because Whitney's not going to, she knows that she said some shit that maybe Lisa would be offended at, but she's not going to say specifically what happened or what she said.
Would
She
she?
wants Lisa to say it, who isn't going to say it because she
Forgets.
either didn't listen to the podcast and just heard people say Whitney was talking shit on you.
Oh, it's probably that.
I think it's probably that because I can't see Lisa sitting down for a 2-hour podcast. She
Viall
probably
Files.
watched a couple of TikToks, to be honest,
That makes
and
sense.
then forgets what she said, but understood what Whitney had said. And the two of them are just going to butt heads over it. The different thing here is everybody's going to gang up on Whitney.
Yes.
So we need a little support, and Angie K is not the support.
No.
We need good teams.
I
But
think
right now, we're
gonna
not
get
going to get
teams.
that.
Well, no, because I mean, Whitney's kind of on an island by herself. I
Yeah.
don't think Angie's gonna hitch her wagon to Whitney. I think that'd be a silly move, especially this early on in the season.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting to watch it shake out. I don't agree with, and this is anybody that uses this whole thing, it drives me nuts. But Lisa's like, I'm just me. And if you don't like me, then you don't have to be friends with me. Being yourself is not an excuse to just be an asshole to
Yep.
people. You can't say that if you don't like it, that's just me. No, it is your job to look in the mirror and change things that are not good about yourself. Saying this is just me, love me or hate me, is never an excuse for anybody. Okay? That every time I hear that, it gets under my, I'm like, that's not a thing. You can't be a dick and say, I'm just being myself. No, that's not how it works. On the flip side, Whitney, you cannot keep using the trauma to get out of things. You're weaponizing my trauma. No, she's fucking not.
No, nobody was.
She's not. Like, that's not happening right now. And you're getting up and you're using and you're making millennials look bad by using trigger words like this, weaponizing my trauma, this, that, the other thing, and storming out. That's not a valid response. Just like Lisa coming at you without any evidence is not a valid move either.
Yeah.
As you said, these two will not come to terms unless they agree to move the fuck on, which they can't either, by the way, because they'll sit back here, as Lisa proved by bringing up the jazz tickets again. So it's almost impossible. I don't know if these two will ever be friends.
It's pretty much impossible, but I do the Whitney just acts like a 10-year-old half the time.
Mhm.
And the little fuck you to Lisa
I liked it.
was so funny.
He goes, I got something for you.
But it was the slowest unroll of a middle finger. It was almost like it got stuck, and then she's like, it's like a jack in the box. She really had to like crank it up
It
to
was
get out
also
there.
not a very,
No, it
one of
was like
those.
she was afraid to do it.
Do you know which one I do now? And I
What?
think I got it from 8 Mile. I do
What?
the Eminem
Oh, really?
middle finger, yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
I don't know when that started, but I feel like that gives, like, that's a fuck you.
Okay.
Frick
Yeah, that's
you.
pretty much what she did.
That's
Yeah.
what she did.
She rolled it out very slowly and said it. It's almost like she regretted it immediately.
Yeah.
Or she was a kid who got some sort of permission from a parent saying, you can say this just this one time. And she's like, oh, can I?
Or
She
like,
was excited to do it.
like when you're a kid or when you are a kid and you get pissed off and like you flip off somebody, like, but you don't want to see it, you're like,
Yeah.
like, "Nyeh."
Or you use your ring finger.
Yeah.
I didn't. It was a ring
It's
finger.
Ring finger. It's ring finger. What is
Don't tell Mom.
Shut up. You're fine.
Don't tell Joseph Smith.
Don't get me started. We got through the whole episode. But because you are just watching this episode probably right now, or you watched it last night, we do not have any questions. What I will say is we are super excited for this season. It was a great premiere. Could not have gone any better, in my opinion. I think they did exactly what they had to do. They did not harp on Monica. They touched on certain things. They all brought their A game. The newcomers, I mean, round of applause. Like, they knocked it out of the park.
Strong start.
Again, I think that they had no idea that one moment on that couch with Mary and the two newcomers would hit that hard. The two newbies. So, kudos to Mary.
Good job. Kudos to Mary.
Yeah, she was there.
Yeah, she was there. She really, really setting the bar low for Mary.
She was there.
You were there the whole time. You
were
didn't
there.
leave.
No, and you were
You
there.
had
for that
filet. Well, maybe you didn't have filet, but
No,
you
she had a salad because filet
somebody
sits
who
in her
goes to
butt.
McDonald's like that is really going to talk shit on steak.
It's always those people. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Do you follow any fitness accounts? It's a nightmare out there.
Oh,
They
boy.
all want to talk shit about everything, but then they'll go to the weekends and drink God knows what and take God knows what. But don't eat seed oils. Don't eat fucking seed oils. God forbid. But then they'll eat a fucking pre-workout that has literally meth in it.
What's wrong with seed oils?
Nothing.
Oh, okay, good.
Nothing.
All right, just
In
checking.
moderation, nothing. Cooking with them is fine.
All
Like,
right.
the fucking misinformation about all of that shit is baffling because it's about dosage. Okay. Yes, there are dangerous things in things that we eat. If you ate 10,000 of them, then you would get these kind of poisons. Don't get me started about fucking cortisol and that whole thing right now. Okay. Sugar spiking in blood. Like, people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And they get on Instagram with their shirt off inside of a grocery store holding like pancake mix. You're like, no shit, it's got sugar in it, dickhead. It's fucking pancakes. They hold a piece of goddamn cake. They're like, this has 500 grams of sugar. It's fucking cake. No, we're not going to fucking eat that assuming it's a goddamn salad. Put your shirt on and get out of the Giant. This is embarrassing. Well, I'm sorry, you struck a nerve.
The only thing that I did, by the way, I
What's wrong with
didn't
seed
perpetuate it. All I did was say, "What's wrong with seed oils?"
You knew you were going to get this response. I hate it.
Oh God.
It fucks with so many normal people out there just trying to live their life and eat healthy, and they get scared away from stuff you don't need to be scared of. Trust me, I'm in the field. Don't listen.
I'm in the field.
If any asshole is on Instagram or TikTok with their shirt off in a grocery store, immediately move on. They're not giving you any actual information. They're trying to scare you. Scare tactics. I literally watched one today. The guy held a cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory. It was an 8-layer chocolate cake. And he's like, it has 150 grams of sugar. What the fuck do you think's in there? What are we doing? We live in a weird time. I love you all. This show's great. Bra Bros are out of here.
Oh my God.